With the beautiful Puget Sound just to our west, you get a look inside CenturyLink Field here in Seattle. The scene a few moments ago, here it is. It's unlike any other in sport as both teams made their way out of the tunnel. These folks are fired up as their guys are ready to do battle between the Dublin Shamrocks and the Seattle Seahawks. The holiday season is upon us. We've got the gift of the NFL as we're underway here in Week 16. This fielded a few yards into the end zone. And he's able to get it across the 20, but not by much as he's marked down at the 21-yard line. The first carry now. This is Johnson. And he's going to get this one across the 30-yard line. Right off the bat, it's a first down to start the drive, 12 yards. This running game's so important for them, and they know that. It helped lead them to a victory last week when he was over 100 yards.
Let's face it, it's their identity, and that's what they want to play to. They want to be that team that runs the ball really well each and every week, and right now we're seeing a pretty good pattern of that happening.
So they'll come up first and 10 now from the 33. They stay on the ground on first with Johnson. And able to use his blockers to get this up over the 40. 8 yards on the pickup, and now they'll have some options on second and short.
A nice run here early on. It doesn't take a great play caller to realize you want to establish a guy of his caliber with runs like this early because they will pay dividends as the game progresses.
They'll look to throw. And connecting here with DJ Shark. Now he's going to get this all the way down inside the 35. A good pickup there, 26 yards. And on this first drive, looks like they want to get that vertical passing game going early.
And they did, and what a warning shot they just fired. If you're not going to back up and play coverage deep, we're going to attack you all game long. And once you adjust to that and you start to back off, then that opens things up underneath. A really nice start for them. Great way to get the game going.
Now a play fake here on first down. Over the middle, complete. It's Lamb. And down inside the 15 he goes. Another big gainer that time. This one goes for 19 yards. This will be their first trip to the red zone. It's first and 10 at the 14. Now the first carry for Chase Edmonds. And he'll be taken down here at about the 11. Give him a couple on the carry there. 2nd and 8.
Sometimes play calls boil down to philosophy. You know you're facing one of the top 10 units against the run in the NFL. So do you decide to keep smashing against them, or do you decide to throw the ball here?
Lucky 56.
They stay on the ground. This time it's Johnson. And he's going to fight his way forward here for a modest gain. 5 yards on the pickup, and that's going to bring up a third down.
All right, Brandon, I know we're in the early going here, but those kind of runs, They're going to open up a world of opportunities for this offense going forward.
They'll try and run for it. Here's Johnson. No gain there on the play, and that's going to leave them with a 4th down.
All right, quick observation, Brandon, because early on in this game, I'm seeing linebackers putting up their noses close to the line of scrimmage.
And my guess is the wheels are turning on that other sideline. As a play caller, you're filing that away right now, aren't you?
Yeah, you're trying to find that opportunity later on when you can play action them or stick something to them between the 2nd and the 3rd level.
So a nice opening drive on the road. You get the 3 points. Part of you wonders if that might hurt them later not getting into the end zone.
But the good thing is, still first quarter, and they did come out of it with points. In a sense, they could look at it positively and say, hey, we set the pace in this one. I think that's how they'll go about it.
And they'll try the ground game here with the running back. And he is met at the line of scrimmage, and he goes down right there. No gain on the play there. 2nd down. Well, they had the run for no gain. Now they'll try again from the 25 on 2nd and 10. On 2nd down, Wilson throwing for his running back, and he's got him complete. And he's brought down, getting this one up to about the 35. We'll give him 10 yards on that one, and that'll earn him a fresh set of downs. Ball up to the 35 now as they come up on 1st and 10. Now they'll run it on the toss. Able to push his way through and able to get this one across the 45 before he's brought down. 11 more yards that go around, a 1st down as well.
Usually we see runs like this as the defense breaks down later in the game, but this guy is setting the tone early, running through all types of tackles and put the defense back on its heels.
Now Wilson on 1st down. They dump off underneath to Ajayi. And he is tackled inside the 40, not quite to the 35. Another nice gain, 16 yards there and a 1st down again.
Nice little nifty play for him there. That's the ability to read a defense and utilize players that don't often get picked up in coverage easily. And I'm talking about being able to use the backside of the backfield. Because I know that when I used to cover, hey, we get everybody oh, he just snuck out there, and they just got a nice 1st down there.
What do we love to say? Get those backs into space, right? And they were able to do that there. Nice pickup on 1st down. Give the tackle to Hassan Reddick.
Well, they had that one sniffed out. Excellent run blitz. Stopped that one for a short gain.
What makes a good run blitz a good run blitz?
The ability to stay on task, to follow up your assignment, go to the gap you're supposed to cover, and not be deterred by anything else.
Now a handoff looking right. And able to push his way forward here for a good little gain. It'll be a pickup of 5, and that leaves him with 5 more. 3rd and 5 now.
Frustrating for a defense, energizing for an offense. Finding a way to create that type of yardage in your running game, That'll make the guys carrying the ball very, very happy.
So 3rd and 5, defensively expecting pass. They've got 6 DBs out there. Wilson. Under pressure, and he will go down. Sacked back at the 38. Jordan Willis in there to sack him, and that is 10 for him now on the year. And he has got it from 55 yards away. That was never in doubt. These kickers now, it used to be that a 50-plus yarder was cause for celebration. Now seemingly automatic.
Yeah, isn't it funny when we prepare for a game, when you look at the backgrounds of these kickers, it's interesting, isn't it, to find out they were all-state quarterbacks, receivers, defensive backs, all-state wrestlers, right? Baseball players. We're finding athletes all along, and now they're just specialists putting it through the posts.
So we're right back where we started, all even as the kick's away. This fielded a few yards into the end zone. And he'll make it across the 20 as his guys will set up shop at the 23-yard line. Now this offensive unit ready to see what they can do here. And last time they got 3 points, but it was a chip shot field goal. And when you go to the sideline after a chip shot field goal, maybe the offense not too happy.
It's a balancing act, isn't it? Because you're exactly right. They're none too pleased that they didn't punch it in for 6 points. But they also have to remember they did put points on the board.
3 points is 3 points.
And in this league, you take points when you can get them. Not easily done.
They'll come out throwing here to start the drive. He's going to air one out. And that's caught inside the 35. And they do finally get him, but he takes it to the 25.
There will always be a place for methodically marching the ball downfield. But when you can pick it up in big chunks and strike like that, have explosive plays, that's often the difference in winning and losing. Those types of plays that can knock a defense off balance, that'll drive a team towards a victory.
The first down carry here for Johnson. Down to the 25. Just a yard on the pickup there, and it'll bring up a 2nd and 9.
Well, we saw him there trying to get it to the outside, trying to get to the perimeter, but not a whole lot of room there. But there's got to be one positive.
Here's a play fake as they set up the throw. That is caught at the 7. And they are able to stop him, but he does take it all the way to the 2. 23 yards on the play. And, boy, they had high praise for this rookie receiver when we asked the coaches about him, didn't they?
They certainly did, and obviously they liked his measurables. Otherwise, they wouldn't have brought him onto the team. Height, weight, speed, all of that. But how about what they really said? Competitiveness. That's what they really liked about him. The way he goes after the football, competes for it, and decides when it's in the air, it's his and only his.
They'll run it with Johnson. And they will stop him after a fairly minimal pickup. Give him 2 yards on that one. 2nd and goal now.
Well, he did get a taste the previous week. He got into the end zone trying his best to get there in this game. So far, he's been denied.
They'll give it to him up the middle. And he is not going to get in as the big bodies stop him at the 1. They hold him again, and now all of a sudden it's 3rd and goal at the 1. This Seattle defense, they haven't broken yet. Coming up here on a 3rd and goal situation.
Gone!
They'll try to run it in. Johnson. And he is into the end zone for a touchdown. David Johnson with touchdown number 12 on the year. And his guys are able to strike for 6. Gonzalez able to tack on the PAT. And the lead is now 10-3. Out is the kickoff unit as they run up and send this one away. This is taken about 7 yards deep. And he'll be brought down at the 23, make it the 24-yard line. Seattle now ready to march out of the field. And fortunate to get points on the board last time. They had to hit a really long field goal to do so.
The kickers in today's game are so good and so skilled and hit from distances that we almost start to take them for granted. And we can't do that. That's a long field goal that they got 3 points out of. They've got to feel good about that, and they better make sure they love him up because he's helped them out.
Yeah, now we'll see if that offense can put 6 on the board here. We'll see. Now we've got whistles and movement up front. I think this is against Seattle. The false start backs him up 5, 1st and 15. Out of the gun, here's Wilson. And the grab made by the tight end Pruitt. And down he'll go at the 25. A gain of 6 there on 1st.
Now that's staying ahead of the chains. Really good pickup on 1st down, hitting the tight end there. Now it brings up a 2nd and manageable.
Just found a hole in that zone. Now they'll run it on the toss. And able to stay on his feet past the 30 to about the 33-yard line. Call it an 8-yard gain. Much better shape now on 3rd and just a yard. On 3rd and 1, Wilson. And he couldn't hang on to it through the contact. Incomplete.
Nice play there to force the incompletion. And to me, one thing's for sure. When you're the underdogs and you're playing on the road, you absolutely have to get takeaways. You've got to get the ball from them.
Yeah, win that turnover battle, going to be key. They didn't get one there, but you get the feeling they keep making plays like that, they might just get a few.
Yeah, once you get one, defensive teams think they come in bunches.
Now this offense about ready to take over again. And they were able to punch it in the end zone last time. They'll be looking to do that again here for the defense. Obviously, they'll be looking to stop them from punching it back in the end zone.
It always is punch, counter punch, isn't it? And which team has the advantage? Well, let's just go back. Last time on offense, they rolled downfield, got into a good rhythm. You can see a little more bounce in and out of the huddle. You can see the sideline really get into the game. So defensively, you're thinking to yourself, how do we take that away from them? How do we get the advantage back? Let's see what they come up with. I think pressure is always the first way to go.
You love pressure.
I love it.
We'll see if they dial it up this drive. So they'll come up 1st and 10 now from the 33. Right back to him on 1st down. And he'll be limited to a short gain up to about the 34-yard line. 2 yards on the pickup there. It'll be 2nd and 8.
Well, we saw they're trying to get it to the outside, trying to get to the perimeter, but not a whole lot of room there. But there's got to be one positive to that. If you keep moving laterally, creases tend to develop as the game moves on, and they can run it back inside later.
He'll drop to throw. And he can't find anywhere to go with it, and he goes down. Frank Clark in there to get him, and that's sack number 8 for him on the year.
A nickel look by Seattle on 3rd down.
Yep, 5 defensive backs now. They'll set up a throw. A loss of 8 on the play, and it brings up 4th. On 4th down, here's Andy Leon to kick it away. Back deep, the dangerous Tyler Lockett. And out now come the Seahawks. And our game's hit a little bit of a lull here, a little bit of a snag. Punts on back-to-back drives.
And old school coaches don't necessarily mind that. Didn't turn it over, right? Didn't create a big play for the other team. Right now what you're looking for is, can you gain an advantage in field position? And that's what both teams are seeking right now.
Yeah, they'll be seeking to gain that advantage here on this drive. first down. Wilson. He's going to flip one out here to his running back. And he'll get to the 29-yard line, brought down there. It'll be a gain of 6, and that'll make this a second down.
So many times you hear today's NFL described as a space game. Get your best players into space with the football in their hands. That's why sometimes you just swing it out to your runner, get him out in the flat, and let him have a chance to make people miss an open field.
And they take him down, losing yardage back at the 27. He lost 2 there, and it's third down. I'm no offensive mastermind, but of all the guys on the field to block, you might want to stop him.
Look, I've got a very simple rule. An unblocked defender is usually your best defender, and he ended up making the play there.
Two minutes remain here in the first half. Back to CenturyLink Field after this.
Tempo, baby, let's go. Let's go to work. Come on. Watch that in. Tight end's right. Tight end's right. 4 down. 4 down. Check. Cut. Shotgun.
On third down, Wilson. He'll let this thing go for Sam. And he fires one that's intercepted. Picked off at the 40. And they are going to set up shop at the 40-yard line.
And, Brandon, this is a real nice job defensively of getting inside a quarterback's head and figuring out, okay, where's he going with the football? Because you can make an educated guess defensively. Not all the time, but sometimes. And when you're right, you've got a decent chance of coming away with the football.
So good starting field position for him here as they come up 1st and 10. And they'll start the drive on the ground with Johnson. And he takes this up right near the 45-yard line. It's a 6-yard pickup, and it gets him to 2nd and 4.
And there we saw one of the downsides of blitzing during a rundown, because sometimes you get out of your gaps. You don't fit the run quite as well because you're headed towards the ball carrier with abandon.
On play action, they'll throw. Open man right side is Shark. 50 catches for him now on the year, and he's got a first down. And a good quarterback facing zone coverage. If he has just a little bit of time to survey the scene, that's what's going to happen.
No doubt about it. If there's no pressure, he's going to continue to pick them apart because he'll have all that time to find someone open downfield. You can only cover for so long. So maybe they want to go to a zone blitz scheme, get a little bit more pressure. Remember when Carolina did that against Denver? They lost the game ultimately. They dropped the defensive end out, and he ended up with an interception in that game in Super Bowl 50. Maybe some sort of scheme like that to try and get more pressure at the passer. And, partner, I think that was a great example that not all tight ends are created equal because everything was right. Got the completion, but he's not one of the more dynamic guys in the league. So even though he caught it, couldn't turn it into much more.
4 yards on that last completion, so that sets up 2nd and 6. Now a shotgun snap as they'll look to throw. Underneath for Johnson. And he'll get it down on the play to the 37. And now the Seahawks are going to take a timeout here on defense, as they'll stop it with just over 40 seconds to go in the first half. The offense on third down tonight, just 1 for 3 thus far. Here it's 3rd and 2.
Leopard! Leopard!
They'll run it now out of the gun. And he's going to get to the 31, enough for the first down. It's a pickup of 6 and good enough to move the chains.
Well, they're currently the best in the NFL in converting on third down, so it was no surprise there that they picked that one up.
And they've done it in many different ways throughout the season, Charles. Picking it up, running it, throwing it, just effective on third downs all year long. Running game working. They'll stick with it on first down. And he'll take this inside the 30 to about the 29, maybe the 28-yard line. And now the Seahawks are going to call another timeout, as it'll come with 15 seconds to play in the first half. On second down, Johnson trying to bounce it outside, but he's only able to get it back to the line of scrimmage. No gain on the play there, so they're left with a third down and 6. And we're going to get a timeout with 2 seconds remaining in the second quarter. So with 2 ticks left here in the half, on is the field goal unit. He made his first attempt, this from 45. And Gonzalez puts this one through. So we reach halftime here in a 10-point game. As we'll send you back over to Orlando with our EA Sports Halftime Report, here's Jonathan Coachman. Set now to kick this one away, and off it goes. And they will not get a chance to return this one as it's through the end zone for a touchback. The Seahawks offense now, they get ready to come back onto the field. They have the ball here for the inaugural drive of the second half. Pretty big deficit, though. We'll see what adjustments were made in that locker room.
And I never want to make something more important than it actually is, right? I don't want to create more hype than what is there. But this is I'm doing it, though. This is a really important drive. And we often talk about teams scripting plays to start a game. A lot of them script to start the second half, too. And they're scripting something that they expect to get them into the end zone and back into this game.
We'll see if that script is a good one for them.
Well, they still have time to get him established, but in my estimation, they've got to pick up the urgency here. They've got to get quickly in and out of the huddle and run off a bunch more plays.
The last play got just a yard. Here's 2nd and 9 from the 26. Play action. It's Wilson. Eluding and he can't get rid of it. He's taken down. Jordan Willis in there to drop him for his 11th sack of the year.
So one quick, easy analysis about why they've struggled so far. They keep putting themselves in third and long situations. They just took another sack right there.
And the offensive film session tomorrow may be a little longer than it normally is.
Not a lot of positive grades will be handed out thus far.
3rd and long. It's Wilson. Dancing to his left. And he's going to go down again.
Brandon, what I remember most about playing with guys who knew how to rush the passer, they would just tell you, just cover people for me, just long enough for me to get there. And that's exactly what happened on that play.
His first punt, 45 yards. This looks good as well. Now we take a glance at the offense as they work their way back out for their first possession of the second half. They were able to get the ball back here, didn't surrender any points. Now they'll look to add to that lead.
Yeah, how about the boost the defense gave them? Going right out on the field, shutting them down, not giving up any points, and turning the ball back over. They want to do their part now and show them a little respect and some gratitude by scoring some points.
And to get a little more cushion. They go play action here on first down. Dumping it off for Johnson. They'll give him a yard on the play, and it's a 2nd down.
So many times you hear today's NFL described as a space game. Get your best players into space with the football in their hands. That's why sometimes you just swing it out to your runner, get him out in the flat, and let him have a chance to make people miss an open field.
They only got a yard out of that last completion, and that makes this 2nd and 9. Back to throw. He's going to look deep down the field. And he's unable to grab it. Thought he might have had position, couldn't hold on, 3rd down.
We've seen good cover skills on display throughout this game, really from both teams. And there's another nice example there of them making it difficult to complete a pass.
The offense on 3rd down tonight, they've hit 2 for 4 thus far. This is 3rd and 9. Flag comes in. This might be a free play. Trying to get it to Williams, but it's intercepted. Picked up by the all-pro corner, Josh Norman. And he brings it back to right around the 26-yard line. And that one was relatively easy to see. I noticed that from up here.
Yeah, it doesn't take a whole lot, does it? Sometimes you get multiples. What I always love on these offsides is when each side points at the other. Hey, you did it. No, you did it. They deciphered that one correctly.
So that last penalty making this 3rd down much more manageable. 3rd down, 4 yards to go.
All right, now, lucky 56. Lucky 56.
And now whistles and a flag, and I think we got a jump here. A little eager there coming in from his outside linebacker position.
You think the hard count got him there?
Yes.
Maybe that extra that extra emphasis on it got him to jump, and they picked up 5 yards.
So forget the 3 and out. The penalty makes this 1st and 10. Following the penalty, it's Johnson. And he's going to be stopped up quickly here. Just a yard up to the 39.
You know that old expression, it's not my night? It hasn't been his so far. I don't know if the legs are a little bit heavy. Sometimes having to hang out all day and play doesn't exactly play to your advantage, but it's been a tough go for him.
And every time he looks up, somebody's there defensively. That was the same case on that play. They'll drop the throw. This is taken in by Chad Williams. And he's going to get this down to the 35-yard line. A good pickup there, 26 yards. Ball up to the 35 now as they come up on 1st and 10. They'll look to throw here on 1st down. Got a man over the middle. It's Williams. And brought down, but not before they're inside the 25. Back-to-back nice plays. 12 yards that time and a 1st down. The busy night continues for Johnson. And a short gain here down to the 22. It was Jaron Reed who got him down.
And this is why aggressive defensive coordinators love to blitz. It wreaks havoc because they end up taking their attention to the blitzers, freed up the D lineman to make the play.
Out of the gun, they'll look to throw. And it's incomplete. Something we haven't really seen much of from him, an incomplete pass.
Yeah, last week he finished at 70%. This week he's up over 80%. I don't know how you slow him down. Pass rush is usually the best way because a quarterback on his back usually can't complete a pass.
After an incomplete pass on 2nd down, that'll leave him trying to convert on 3rd and 9. Back to throw here. And incomplete. The contact made the ball roam free and brings up 4th down.
You hear the calls for a penalty, but I just don't think so. I think in this situation, the defender was making sure his guy couldn't hold on to the football. So I don't see anything that warranted a flag.
No, I'm with you. There was contact, but I'm happy they kept that flag in the back pocket. So he remains perfect, 3 for 3 in the field goal department.
And it's so important for any offense to have an ace like him up their sleeve, isn't it? Because now you know what his range is, and as soon as your offense gets there, you're pretty much counting on 3 points going up on the board.
The Seattle now ready to march onto the field. These guys had to punt last time. It has not been a very fruitful game offensively thus far. They haven't even made a trip to the red zone.
And I know that everyone's going crazy on that sideline because that drives you berserk to come off the field, not really move the ball well. As you said, not even get to the red zone, let alone, not even put points on the board. They've got to just take a deep breath, relax, try and figure out what is working, and call more of that.
Robert Kimdichie, the one to bring him down. Now, they struggled to get him rolling on the ground in the first half, and that's sort of continuing here in the third quarter.
Yeah, but I don't think it's time to abandon the running game. I would say keep feeding the horse, and I believe he'll eventually reward them, especially as we get deeper in the game.
Here's Wilson to throw. Into a double team, and it's intercepted. Picked up by Josh Jones. And he will score. It's a touchdown. This D wanted to put it away before we even get to the fourth quarter, widening that margin a bit further.
And while they won't just empty the bench just yet, if you're a backup, start loosening up. I think you'll get a chance to play before this one is over now with that type of a cushion.
And now this is right in Kyle Shanahan's wheelhouse. He'll go for 2 here. They're going to look to throw. And he is going to be stopped short of the goal line. Oh, they'll mark him inside the 1. He just couldn't keep churning those extra few inches. And the 2-point attempt is turned aside. And this will not be returnable. It's out of the back of the end zone for a touchback. Here come the Seahawks now, set to take over on offense. Back to the air, Wilson after the pick 6. And for a third time tonight, he's intercepted. He's picked off at his own 47. And he's able to get it back to the 41-yard line. Well, that's 3 picks he's now thrown in this game.
And I know this, the holiday season, because here we are in December.
Season of giving.
Right, it is the season of giving. Maybe for his own sake after the game, he may have to announce that he's donating certain amounts to charity for each interception that he threw.
They'll try to get the offense going with Johnson. And he works it past the 30, almost to the 25. And a nice carry there of 15 yards.
Boy, he does it at a high level, doesn't he? Because when I watch him, I think of his vision. Straight ahead, peripheral, also has that sense of where holes are going to be before they actually open. I think that helps set him apart from many of the other backs in the league.
Right back to him on first down. And he's going to fight his way forward here for a modest gain. He'll get a nice chunk there on the first down run, and it's 2nd and 4.
They're trying to show that they can run the ball and protect this lead. Give it to the backs, play a little bit of keep away, don't you think?
And that's probably a good philosophy at this point, going to make that defense stand up and stop them. They'll hand it off now. Johnson. And just a couple yards there down to the 17.
In my book, that's running the ball well but with intelligence. How about him keeping the clock moving, staying in bounds?
Yeah, even though it's the third quarter, you're thinking ahead, aren't you? This is where your running game can really help you with a lead in the second half.
I agree totally. It's not just end-of-the-half situations that you worry about the clock. It's throughout the game. And with a lead, stay in bounds. Make them fight harder to try and catch you.
The offense on third down tonight, 2 for 5 to this point. They need just a yard here. It's 3rd and 1. They'll run it now out of the gun. And he takes it down to the 13 and picks up the first. Just 4 yards on the pickup, but that's good enough to extend the drive.
Nice job there finding room to maneuver, and he worked his way into another first down. And look, they had great field position to start, but boy, they've done a nice job taking advantage of it.
Now they're just hoping to cap it off.
Back 99 Philly, here we go.
Here's a 20th carry for Johnson. And he'll get this one down to about the 10-yard line. Give him 3 on first down. It'll set up a 2nd and 7.
This drive is pretty clear. Almost feels like old-school fundamentals, doesn't it? Want to impose their will on the defense. What's that, 5 straight runs?
Yeah, 5 straight carries to start this drive. And like you said, the way it's working, they may just stick with it. They go to Johnson again. And they see right through that defensively as he'll be hit and taken down to the backfield. It'll be a loss of 1, and that's going to lead to a 3rd down. Back now in Seattle, Washington. They'll set up to throw. And it's caught. Touchdown. In for the score. And his guys find a way to stretch that lead. Gonzalez to add the PAT. Gonzalez good on the extra point. And the decision to just kick the extra point winds up successful. The kickoff unit is out on the field, and they will send this one away. That's fielded in the end zone. And he'll wind up about 4 yards shy of where he would have been if he had taken a knee, as they'll start at the 21-yard line. And the Seahawks get ready to trot out on the field. And last time wasn't pretty. 1 play and an interception. We'll see if they can do better.
I want to see if they want to go ahead and throw the ball again now on this drive after what happened on the last one. Throw it on the first play. Give the quarterback some confidence.
See what happens.
4 down, 4 down. Check 50, check 50.
Trying to shake off the interception from the last drive. He'll look to throw. Wide open receiver complete. And he's brought down after a very nice gain. He got 29 yards that time. They'll run it now out of the gun. And good penetration here. He'll get this down only to about the 49-yard line. Just a yard on the first down carry, so it's 2nd and 9. And the trend continues here in the 4th like it was in the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. He's had nowhere to run.
And you're probably thinking to yourself, why do they keep feeding him the football? Well, they trust him first and foremost. They do believe that over time he might actually pop one of these runs. But bottom line is he takes care of the ball well for them, so they'll keep handing it to him.
To throw is Wilson. Now he's forced out, and he can't find a receiver, and he's brought down.
We've been around this league for a while, and many coaches never pull their starting quarterback, almost no matter the situation. In this case, though, I think he's got to make a decision. He's taking a pretty good beating out there.
Yeah, and with the deficit, maybe not wanting to risk an injury. The Seahawks on third down. Not good. 0 for 4 thus far. This is 3rd and 9.
Let's go, D. All right, move the team.
Mike 51, Mike 51. All day, dog.
Alert, 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 alert. All right.
From midfield now, here's Wilson. And he's got Lockett. That his first catch so far. They've held him under wraps, but he's got a first down there. Cool under pressure right there, escaping the pocket and finding what I think was not his primary target.
And some of these guys are just so comfortable getting outside of the pocket that they'll do it on purpose. It doesn't even need to be a breakdown. They move, and they know it affects the defense, because a lot of times you get lost in coverage in the secondary, and I think you're exactly right. Wasn't his primary target. Found a secondary guy who sprang open, probably because of his movement out of the pocket.
That loss of 3, a rare stumble on a promising drive. Here's 2nd and 13.
380.
Now Wilson on 2nd down. Flush to his right. And he's going to have to eat this one as down he goes. Hassan Reddick in there to get him, and that's sack number 12 for him on the year. The Seahawks on 3rd down, just 1 for 5 to this point. This is 3rd down and 12. Throwing is Wilson. Out to the flat. That's complete to his running back. And he'll be brought down at the 27-yard line. The screen does get him 9, but it also brings up a 4th down. Instead of throwing it downfield, Charles, they just tried to dump it underneath there. You like the call?
I do. I think it's a high percentage play because you get the completion, and what you're counting on is your back to use his legs and his elusiveness to make people miss and pick up the first down. In this case, it didn't happen.
Well, in the grand scheme of things, those 3 points likely not going to matter much, but I guess they get a little closer, a little more respectability. Yeah,
you're exactly right. They've been outplayed all game long, but like my mom used to tell me all the time before I went out, dress up a little bit, son. Make yourself respectable. And that's what they're doing here. They're just dressing up the final score.
Out comes this offensive unit as they get set to take over here. And that recipe on their last drive that resulted in a touchdown looked pretty good, so they'll be hoping to do that once more.
And it takes me back to when we sat with the offensive coordinator and the head coach. They felt pretty good about their game plan and thought there were some holes in the defense, and they exploited them the last time out. Let's see if they can come back and put together a similar drive.
And we'll see if they can do just that. They begin the drive with Johnson. And he's able to take this one up to the 35-yard line. It'll be a pickup of 10 yards. And that'll make it 2nd and a foot or so.
Oh, that's one to warm the hearts of all those old-school football players, isn't it? Tough, hard, gritty run. Got behind his pads, bowled over a few people. Look at that one, right up the gut.
Saw it through 3 quarters. No reason to lighten up now. Again, it's Johnson. 2 yards on the pickup there, but it's enough to give him a new set of downs.
Well, I don't think there's any question, Brandon, at this stage. The stop troops, the defensive guys, they've got to use their 3 timeouts here. They've got to stop them and get the ball back.
Yeah, if you're in that 2 to 3 score deficit window that they're in now, you got to get it ASAP.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Stop them, use your timeouts. Easier to move the ball on offense without timeouts than to stop them on defense without using them.
Oh, a design run for their wideout. And that one covered beautifully. Their defenders stayed home, and they'll stop him behind the line. It's a loss of 2 there, bringing up 2nd down. Now a handoff, Johnson. And he's going to be met at the line of scrimmage and taken down. Called it no gain there, and now they're looking at a 3rd and 13. On 3rd down, Johnson. And he'll bring it up here to right at the 40-yard line. 7 yards on the carry there, but now they're staring at 4th down.
Well, that last run makes this a 100-yard night. I've loved the way he's hit the holes. He's been quick, he's been decisive, and he's been a whole lot of fun to watch.
He gets this one away, and boy, it's another boomer. The Seattle now ready to march out of the field. And after the field goal last time, we'll see what they can get here. At least they got points out of the last drive, Charles.
I never met an offensive coach that didn't want to drive to end with a kick. Most of them wanted to end with a PAT, right? In this case, a field goal, they'll take it. Way better than the alternative, which is a punt.
Yeah, but you met fan bases that wanted that, that weren't happy with that field goal.
I haven't met a fan base yet that wants to drive to end with a kick, other than the extra point. That's it.
Time for a break. Back to finish it off on EA Sports after this.
Shotgun. 20. 19.
They run a draw here on 2nd down. And a nice gain there as he'll be taken down just shy of the 20. The Seahawks on 3rd down. They've had their troubles, just 1 for 6. Here it's 3rd and 3. Wilson. He's going to flip that out to the flat. It's complete. And he goes nowhere. He'll lose yardage back at the 17. Losing 2 yards that time, and now it's 4th down. And they're indeed going to go for it here on 4th down. So trailing here in the last quarter. Let's see how this plays out.
Gotta go. Alert 3. 19. Go. Time.
Oh, and now movement and a whistle, and they may have to rethink their plans on 4th down. Now here's Michael Dixon, standing about a yard deep in his own end zone. He steps into this one, and this is a rocket. Now this offense ready to head back out there. They come into enemy territory, and I don't care what the matchup is in the National Football League. You're up like this late in the game on the road. This feels pretty good.
Oh, it feels fantastic. Anytime you get a road victory in the NFL, that's a big-time accomplishment, and to do it this convincingly, That just tears up the script that every home team has, which is nobody comes into our house and pushes us around. They took care of business today.
Yeah, they pushed around, and now the final stages of this one. They're backed up here with a 1st and 20 now after the holding penalty.
All right, now, lucky 56. Lucky 56.
Johnson on the counter. And maybe a measure of revenge there. He's had his way in this one, but this time they get him behind the line. It's a loss of a yard there, and now 2nd down. Defense still with 3 timeouts. We'll see if they want to use them here as the kneel down comes. So time to start going in the other direction as they come up now.